So in anticipation of the new X-Men movie, Days of Future Past, I'm going to be rewatching and reviewing all of the first 4 X-Men movies, which is the X-Men original trilogy, along with the new kind of like reboot, First Class. So today I'll be talking about the first X-Men movie, X-Men, which came out in the year 2000, and this is like the real first Marvel superhero movie. Obviously Batman was done a long time ago, Superman as well, but you know, Marvel had dabbled a few times. There was like a Captain America movie, a Punisher movie that probably nobody's ever heard of that happened before this, and also the Blade series. But Blade was like more for a mature audience because it was rated R. So this is really their first big budget approach at the superhero movie. And they're kind of apprehensive, like they didn't really want to go full blown, everybody in, you know, tights. And it's kind of unfortunate because I've always envisioned Wolverine in the yellow spandex and the mask. Like the mask is just so Wolverine, but I have to say that they did an amazing job casting Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Even though he's 6'2", you know, he is Wolverine and Logan defined. Like that, there's nobody else that I could see playing Wolverine at this point in time. Same thing with Professor X with Patrick Stewart. Like, as much as I like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Patrick Stewart as Professor X is just, you cannot get anybody better than that. Ian McKellen as Magneto does a fantastic job, although I will say that I probably like Michael Fassbender a little bit more from First Class. He's just like that much more badass, and both of them are amazing actors and they played the part very well, but I think I prefer Michael Fassbender's a little bit more. Anyway, this does a really good job of introducing the X-Men characters because it only introduced like 4 main characters on each side, along with Patrick Stewart as Professor X. So there was him leading the regular X-Men team along with Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, and Jean Grey. They also introduced a few other characters like Rogue and Iceman, but they're not into the movie that much. Also, Rogue is a teenager, and I didn't really like that. It was a good way to introduce Wolverine, but I would have preferred to see like an actual Rogue, like because she's a badass character. She's like super powerful. She can fly, and I would have liked to have seen her also with the accent because I really dug that from the X-Men TV show animated series. And then they also introduced Magneto and Mystique, Sabretooth, and Toad. Sabretooth is completely misused in this movie. He's like the one character that I was really bothered that they did not use because he has like maybe 2 lines in the entire movie. And that's just sad. And he and Wolverine don't have any, you know, history in this movie. They're just like, they battle each other and that's it. They have no reason. And that is one of the biggest parts of like the entire X-Men universe is the battle between Wolverine and Sabretooth and how much they despise each other and hate each other. And they could have used that in this. So I think that they just should have taken Sabretooth out and added in another character because if they didn't want to go with that path because that's a huge missed opportunity. There's a few parts in this that were like, Rogue isn't quite used quite right. Really, the showing that Cyclops is the leader, not really shown in this. He's there, and he's really misused in the entire series because after this movie, he slowly becomes a huge minor character. In the third one, he's barely in it. So that kind of upsets me because I really like Cyclops, and I also like the way that Wolverine and Cyclops hate each other and keep butting heads. They do this in this movie as well, so I did enjoy that. But it also just serves a really good point of introducing that, you know, mutants exist. The government knows about it, and they want everybody to know about it, and that's kind of like what X-Men is all about. It's always about, you know, humans being afraid of mutants and mutants being afraid of humans because of what might happen to them. It really reminds me of Professor X reminds me of Martin Luther King and Magneto as Malcolm X. They both have very different views on how they should approach you know, mutants in the world and humans knowing about it. And that's what this kind of goes with. So the first one is a good introduction, and it's interesting as they're showing off all the characters. Wolverine, how they show him in the cage in Canada, really love that. But the ending, I felt was a little bit anticlimactic. They did a good job of having them all work together, especially in the last scene, to kind of overcome their obstacles. But other than that, it was just kind of It was there as an introduction. There were a few missed opportunities, but it's still an enjoyable movie. And I always go between 2 ratings for this movie, which is a 6 and a 7, but I'm going to go with a 6 out of 10 because it's just not the quite level that I wanted it to be. So there you have it. You've been Bearded In. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned because I will be reviewing the other 3 X-Men movies before Days of Future Past, and I cannot wait for Days of Future Past this weekend. So you've been Bearded In. Thanks for watching, everyone. Beardage!